the Chief Commercial Officer. That's right, for Horizon Pharma. Vikram, take it away. Woo!
Thank you so much. Thank you, it's great to be here. What a wonderful event. Welcome to the 2018 Freedom of Movement Gala. On behalf of the Gala Committee and the Gala Chair, Ms. Mandy Key, who could not be here today, the Arthritis Foundation staff, sponsors, and everyone else who made this wonderful evening possible, we thank you for being here. The Freedom of Movement Award acknowledges leaders in the advancement of research and awareness of the management, prevention, and cure of arthritis. For the first time ever, this award is received by a corporate honoree, a place where I am proud to work every day, Horizon Pharma. At Horizon, we are focused on delivering breakthrough medicines to those living with rare and rheumatic diseases. As a growing research and development company with more than 1,000 employees, we strive to make a powerful difference for our patients, their caregivers, and physicians every day. Our culture is grounded in putting patients first because many of us know a patient, are a patient, or have been impacted by a patient's story. That's why for me and for all of us at Horizon, it's personal. Our commitment to patients and the Arthritis Foundation starts at the highest levels of our organization. So it is fitting that our leadership team is present here tonight to reinforce our passion for patients, research, and partnership within the scientific community. Thank you all for being here. And speaking of passion, we are going to hear a lot tonight about the tremendous and inspiring work being done in the fight against arthritis. As we celebrate these achievements, I ask each of you to consider participating in the auctions and the Key to a Cure presentation. Your support tonight allows the Arthritis Foundation to fund more research, provide more programming, and most importantly, continue to provide support educating physicians, patients, and caregivers about treatment options. With that in mind, it is now my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Horizon's Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer, my mentor and my boss, Tim Warbird.
Thank you, Vikram. It's great to see so many friends and family. And at Horizon, we consider each and every one of our employees a family. But first of all, I'd like to offer congratulations to the other honorees here this evening. Dr. Calvin Brown, congratulations to you. And also to the Bookmeyer family. Each of you have done so much to raise awareness of this debilitating disease. And of course, thank you to the Arthritis Foundation for all the work that you have done and continue to do to try to find better treatments and hopefully one day a cure for so many of these devastating arthritides that we deal with. I had the honor to stand on this stage 4 years ago as the recipient of the Freedom of Movement Award honoree, but this time it's much different. Accepting this award on behalf of the first ever corporation is much more meaningful to me. This summer we celebrated our 10th anniversary as a company, from a coffee shop to, as Vikram mentioned, over 1,000 employees, and it's been a long and inspiring journey for each and every one of us. And much of that has been spent in support and in service to the arthritis community and the Arthritis Foundation, and most importantly, the patients that we all support. It continues to be a great partnership, and it's an honor to have been a part of the arthritis community for more than a decade. Tonight I want to tell you a little bit about our growth as an organization, Over the last 10 years, we've found success by challenging another to make a difference. Equally important, I believe, we found success by making the fight for the arthritis community personal for each and every one of us in the company. And it's one that we waged at the earliest stages of Horizon as a company. Our first medicine, Duexis, addresses gastroprotection for chronic NSAID users, and unfortunately, that first medicine so many patients often take leads to 100,000 hospitalizations and over 16,000 deaths a year. Duexis, along with many of our medicines, we have 5 medicines for arthritis today, make a powerful difference for so many patients who need them. And Duexis has been a foundation for us over the last number of years as we continue to expand our efforts within the arthritis community, and most recently with our medicine Krystexxa, which treats approximately 100,000 patients with chronic refractory gout. And these are patients, I get stories sometimes once a week of patients canceling amputations because they've had an opportunity to benefit from such a medicine, and that truly makes a difference for us as a company. Our focus moving forward is to continue to find solutions for gout sufferers and arthritis sufferers, and we're studying Krystexxa and earlier stage medicines to hopefully make a difference for not only those 100,000 patients with chronic gout, but the more than 8 million in the United States who have gout. But as Vikram mentioned about this being personal for each of us, I look around the room, the arthritis and autoimmune diseases that so many of us have or know people that have, it's definitely personal. Many of you know my story. You know, I've had several autoimmune diseases. It's funny, I was talking to Eric Ruderman, who was one of my first physicians treating me. I think it was probably about 20 years ago, Eric. And you know, for each of us, we either have one of these diseases, we know someone, we have a family member, and for each of us, we have to find a way to continue to give back, but importantly, to make it personal, because when it's personal, that's when we can make an effort like we see here tonight with over 500 people, the most attendance ever for the Arthritis Foundation Gala, so thank you for that. You know, for me, autoimmune disease impacts my everyday life in the course of what we do as a company, but also as a patient. But this event and this award is much more than just an award. It's personal for me. The money raised tonight will not just potentially improve my life, but the 46 million patients that you heard with well over 200 different arthritides, and the lives of the friends and family that each of you have with arthritis. So I'd like to challenge you, look around, look who you know as a patient or family member, and look at how it impacts them every day. Let's identify a person living with this painful condition, and let's make sure we sign up for the auctions and we give money back, because this is how we continue to move forward. 25 years ago, we had one biologic. Today we have over 10 biologics that can help so many patients that otherwise wouldn't be treated and would be suffering so much more from these devastating diseases. But for us, it's really important that we continue to give back, not just at events like this, but showing up at the walks, and making a continued effort to help the arthritis community here in Chicago. And on behalf, again, I want to thank you, Dr. Brown, the Buckmeyer family, for physicians like Brown, the entire arthritis community. You're the ones that make a difference every day, not just at events like this, treating patients and making a difference in their lives. And on behalf of Horizon Pharma, thanks so much for this great award. We're humbled and just great to be in everyone's presence this evening, and look forward to having a wonderful night. Thank you.
Tim, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you, Tim, for having that personal connection. Can we get another round of applause for Tim? Tim, thank you. So right now I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Roland Chang, Northwestern Medicine and National Board Chair of the Arthritis Foundation.
So thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you, Tim, for your great words and for your company's support of the Arthritis Foundation. I'm here to honor Cal Brown. As you might know, the local unit of the Arthritis Foundation has created an award in my name, which I'm very honored by, thank you. For excellence as a healthcare provider in providing great care, but I think more notably connections with patients and kind of in the spirit of what the Arthritis Foundation's mission is all about. So I'm just going to give you a brief introduction to Cal. Some of you may not know him. He was born in Cleveland, grew up in Detroit, and went to college at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. He then went back to Detroit to do his medical school training at Wayne State University. And then in 1979, actually got his first professional opportunity in this great city of Chicago. He ended up being an internal medicine resident at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, which, by the way, is where I work. That was the beginning of his connection with the city. He went back to Michigan to get his fellowship in rheumatology, and his first faculty job was at the Rush Medical College in the Division of Rheumatology. Before long, he ended up doing another fellowship at Rush in sports medicine, so hence his very much involvement in sports medicine activities at Northwestern as well. Since he's been a faculty member in Chicago, he has been notable for his education, his passion for education. He got several teaching awards at Rush, and then became the program director of the fellowship program in the mid-1990s. In 2008, Northwestern was very fortunate to recruit him to Northwestern to lead our fellowship program. And just as a matter of a kind of personal reflection on that, the early 2000s, late 1990s was interesting. Under the direction of Richard Pope at Northwestern, we were able to lure 3 division chiefs at other units in Chicago. We got Dr. Varga to come from the University of Illinois Chicago, Dr. Schnitzer to come from Rush, and Walter Barr to come from Loyola. And I never asked Richard how he kind of came about doing this, but I would say that really the thing that really capped our ability as a division to really move forward as a nationally recognized one was when Cal arrived in 2008. He's been an incredible partner in the training of new academic rheumatologists, which is really what Northwestern is all about. And he has served on the board of the local leadership board of the Arthritis Foundation and has really been instrumental in connecting the rheumatology community to the Arthritis Foundation. So I want to bring Cal up here. Is the award up here or not? Yeah? So Cal, let me formally give him the award, and then you can stand up and raise the roof. So the Arthritis Foundation's 29th annual gala, we're at this gala, we're very happy to award you the Roland W. Chang Award of Excellence presented to Calvin Brown Jr. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much, Bing. It only enhances this incredible honor to be introduced by an esteemed colleague who's also a close friend and for whom the award is named. How incredible is that? At the end of the movie Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood stands over Gene Hackman, shotgun cocked. "I don't deserve this," Hackman says. Eastwood, the outlaw sheriff, replies, "Deservin's got nothing to do with it." That's how I feel about receiving this award. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed with appreciation, and it's hard to feel deserving of it. Thank you, Bing. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Anne, for being here. And thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for what you do year-round to show your support of this vital foundation and its very, very important work. As Bing mentioned, I came back to Chicago in 1985, then to help start a rheumatology division at Rush. No sooner had I arrived to do that job than I was told we had a fellow. For those of you who don't know, a fellow is a doctor who's training to become a rheumatologist, to diagnose and treat patients with rheumatic diseases and arthritis. That made me, just 1 year removed from my own fellowship, the de facto fellowship director, too. So, as I had learned how to be a doctor, I also had to learn how to teach. It was, frankly, terrifying. When a fellow would ask a question, I'd sneak out, and in those days, I'd look it up in a textbook. Soon, one fellow became 2, then 3, then 4, and pretty soon I had a family at work, in addition to my family at home. One of the first skills any doctor must teach is how to diagnose. But in doing this, I discovered that one of the most valuable skills I could teach was not just how to diagnose if a patient had a disease, but how to tell that to the patient. In the information age, the hardest question is, what do we know? You can find that on your phone now. The most important question is, how do we tell that to somebody? Many patients come to us with dread, and we can only do our best to confirm it in the most humane way possible. Other times, I myself have been lifted up by patients' positivity. A young woman who, like Tim, had autoimmune disease, we diagnosed. To my shock and surprise, a big smile came across her face as she said, "Thank goodness there's a reason for the way that I feel." Then she looked at me and she said, "I have great faith in God and you, Dr. Brown. What are the next steps?" So this past May, I made a diagnosis that was different from the rest. On a Tuesday afternoon, in a busy clinic, I opened up an x-ray of a recent CAT scan study. Immediately, it was obvious that something was seriously wrong. What was different this time was that the diagnosis was pancreatic cancer, and the patient was me. Amid the storm of emotions that overwhelmed me, one of the first was absolute shock and surprise. I eat well. I exercise. I don't smoke. I've been an endurance athlete my whole life. I run, I bike, sometimes I swim, I kayak. My parents both lived into their 90s. So I thought, I don't deserve this. And just then I remembered what Clint said. Deservin's got nothing to do with it. That precious space has allowed me to find meaning and gratitude in my own diagnosis. Started reading more broadly and discovered a beautiful poem by a poet, no coincidence, whose name is Rumi. He is a 13th century Persian Sufi mystic. The poet sees the human body as a guest house. He asks us to welcome and entertain the unexpected visitor, even if that visitor arrives as a crowd of sorrows. For it just might be preparing us for, as Rumi says, some new delight. So I no longer engage in the question of whether I deserve my diagnosis. Freed from that unanswerable question and from the shackles of daily concern, I can focus instead on delights in my new life. Something I actually learned from my patients, those who release themselves from blame or shame and return to the joy of relationships and gratitude. Today, I too can focus on all of the things I'm grateful for. My wife, Joanne, my daughter, Sarah, my late daughter, Katie, my brother who gave up his Michigan State tickets to come here and be here for this event tonight. Go Blue. Truly, without the love of those people and all of you here tonight, that's the only reason I've ever been able to accomplish anything in my own professional career. It is a great gift to say every day that I look forward to going to work, and I look forward